welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsay Jackson.
Mi nombre estoy Aaron Jackson.
Oh my goodness, this is what kind of episode we gonna have.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Oh, muy bien.
Okay, okay.
That's as far as she knows.
This
That's
is
why.
no, I get well good. Yeah, it is.
All
Okay,
right.
all right. This is my husband, Aaron Richard
I
Jackson.
said my
We're
name
the
was
Jackson.
Aaron Jackson.
You said me, Amo. You was on a whole nother like.
Language.
They might not know that you.
My name is Aaron Jackson.
Okay. Okay. So we're here, season 5, episode 16. Y'all, I'm
Woo!
so
Sweet
excited
16.
because we have been on this cliche road with this season, and it's kind of I like it as working out because we're really diving into some sayings that we've heard, and
Mm-hmm.
we're like, how you feel about them?
Yeah.
Do you like them? What's going on? So this episode, cliche of the episode is it takes a village.
My favorite cliche.
I remember writing that on like my baby registry or something, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like, it takes a village. Here's my baby registry.
I know, but we didn't understand it takes a village until we had children.
All right.
Well, you know what? I won't speak for you. I didn't understand it takes a village until we had children, which is interesting to me because I was like, man, I probably had more money when we didn't have children, when it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
And so if we had like a nice little village, we could have been like, I don't know, doing trips.
But the full cliche or the full saying is it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh, well.
So that it only is not you don't, not that you don't need a village as an individual or as a couple, because you do have your village to support the couple, but I heard it together. It takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it was one of those like African proverbs or something like that, because
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we were having our first baby that everybody was like, it takes a village, it takes a village. Whether you have one or four babies, it takes a village. And a couple questions. Where is the village? Where is the village? That's what people are always like, where is this village? But also it's like, okay, what do you think? Because I know you just said, that's you were
That's my one.
yeah.
That's my one. The thing is, I we've been doing this for 5 seasons and we have dropped so many jewels. You should just go back and just listen to all the podcasts.
I think so.
There was one time when we were talking about chosen family. At this age, I'm 36, turning 37. I'm at the point where I have my family that I have, like my brothers and my sisters. But now with my children, I choose my family.
Mm-hmm.
I can choose people I could deal with, choose people I don't want to deal with. If I don't want to talk to you no more, I do not have to talk to you anymore. And so I think that's where it comes to, when it comes to it takes a village. The other part should be like, choose your village wisely.
Yes.
It's who can you lean on. And right now, like, our village is really interesting because most of our village has a very young children. And so we're all on this journey together, but we're all super busy. But there's a support system. Like, we almost have this whole clothes exchange going on between all of our babies and stuff like that. And it's just like the little things that help. Yeah. Even the phone calls, right?
Yes, for sure. Especially
is
because
just
we're
like,
not in the same state,
yeah,
as most of our village right now.
yeah. And then one person who is a family member, shout out to her, a selected family member who is in the state in New York, yes, is Auntie Ebony.
Yes.
And she
comes through.
Man, right? It's kind of like,
she's the only one we got here, I think. Almost. Well,
yeah. Well, we have family. We have some cousins out here and stuff like that. They are our calls when it's like last before
dire. Yeah.
But yeah, it's who you choose. It's who you choose. If you're choosing the right people, then no matter what their situation, some people might be like, oh, these people have a lot of money and stuff like that. What's money without morals and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like choosing your roster, your village to fit your circumstance. I think that's probably like the biggest thing about it takes a village, because sometimes people want to be in your village and they should not be.
And they shouldn't be. And that's so interesting that you said that, because a lot of times it's like when you need help, people will be like, any help, somebody help. But we are very selective, especially about our children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it ain't just anybody. It ain't gonna ever be just anybody come help. It's gonna have to be the right people. And I remember when we were sitting down and we were choosing godparents, and we
Mm-hmm.
were having a conversation about who should be the godparents of our children.
Mm-hmm.
And we both had history about how this is the way that our parents chose our personal godparents. And so it's like, okay, do, do you want godparents that have the money? Do you want the godparents that you have a relationship with that don't have children? Do you want godparents to have children so that our children can play together? It was,
Do they need to be married? Do they
right.
not need to be
Because
married?
if
Yeah.
they're not married and then they get married, then
Mm-hmm.
their other person is the godmother, but then
Yeah.
you already have another godmother. Like, it's so many things that come into play when we were discussing godparents. And I think that hands down, best godparents like that I know
Yeah.
are all of
We
the ones we
are.
selected.
Let me tell you, our village. I would put our village. It's kind of like with Cat Williams. It's like we might not have all the resource, but if you put us on the line,
Yeah, yeah.
boy,
Mm-hmm.
we always come through, and it's like a sense of I don't want to say loyalty, but it's what happened in the selection of our village. I think that's really good. Is core values of faith. So
Yeah.
like everybody in our
Mm.
like village, I guess we all came from the same church.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking about it, yeah,
Most of them. Yep.
yeah. So like it's really interesting because it's kind of like okay, we have these core values that we can rely on. And the same thing I used to talk about, I think they talked about marriage prep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what do you lean on when everything hits the fan? It's kind of like, oh, what's these core values? How do you communicate? Like, I knew, I think Pastor Jordan was talking about being unequally yoked, or somebody was
Yes.
talking about
That
unequally.
was Pastor Jordan.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, yeah, when you fall back and this person goes this way because this is how they were raised,
Mm-hmm.
and this person goes this way because this is how they knew or understood the world,
Right.
is going to be cause friction. And so we have people who we all have the same foundation of faith
Right.
and basically the same teachings because we all came from the same church.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I when I think about village and I think about community, I think, okay, these are the people that are going to uphold you
Mm-hmm.
even when you don't have it, when you're down, when you need help. And so meeting those people when you have kids is so crucial, because a lot of times, and this is even for me, it's hard to ask for help.
Oh
For
yeah,
me,
yeah. You said that in multiple.
I am now entering into a new season where I will ask for help, but then it's hard to hear no and still circle back and actually like look you in the eye and not be mad at you, right? I'll be like, oh, okay, okay. Even if I completely understand, like I like, oh, I'm actually gonna be out of town. No, oh, okay, okay, okay. But the village.
You know what's so funny? Action, our son, is exactly like Lindsay in this point. If he hears the word no, I don't know how many times he has came to me and was like, "Hey, Daddy, I just want you to know I don't like the word no. I don't like when you say no to me." And I was like, "Yeah, you and your." It was a day that I said no to Action, and then I think I rarely say no to Lindsay, but I think I said something to Lindsay where it was a no, and it was the exact same reaction. And Lindsay did it first, and the Action did it later on in the day. I think you were gone, and I was like, "Oh, that's where you got it from."
Don't do that.
Like
Don't do
he did
that.
something. I was like, he did something exact, like matched your mannerisms, and I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." But yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
the village that we do need. I think because we are away other
Mhm.
than Auntie Ebony, from the majority of our call upon, pick up the phone, call up real quick, and also who our children are comfortable with. That's the other thing, that feels like home. That doesn't feel like, yeah, we do have a cousin here, but we see her once a year. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like people are like, this is the thing on Instagram is where is the village that we speak of? And I think that it's up to us to build the village and continue to keep the connection.
Mhm.
So I've talked about this before, and I'm like, when children are very young, they're forgetful. We are forgetful as adults, but they are forgetful. They're not going to remember to call their grandmother or their godparent,
Mhm.
or it's up to the parents to keep the connection alive, to keep that strong bond there, and to make sure that they remember. And then it becomes second nature. So then when they get older, they're like, oh, let me call and wish, my godmother a happy birthday and things like that. And
Mhm.
so I I'm trying to say that thinking about the village, I'm like, I purposefully and intentionally try to stay connected to our village,
Yeah.
especially the village that's all the way in California or, wherever they are. I'm like, I think about them, okay, I need to call them once a week or at least once a month and like check in. And I do that with our kids too.
Yeah. The person my sister, my big sister in London, uh,
She's very good at it.
she's really good at
She's
connection. I mean,
very
yeah.
purposeful in staying connected to her family,
Mhm.
even though different time zone,
Yeah.
different country, different all over there.
Mhm.
She is connected.
I didn't get the whole. I didn't what like Morgan, Micah. Like I saw her when she was pregnant. We went out there for the Olympics while she was pregnant,
Hmm.
but he knew my name and he knew my face by the time I actually got to see him and hold him and
Yeah.
hug him. But he was like, "Oh, this is my uncle Aaron. Like I've talked to him. I know him." And I think that was really cool because like I FaceTime because of her. I FaceTime. We have a 5 month old.
Yeah.
We have a 5 month old, and like I just randomly be FaceTiming my mom and be like hi, this is Nana, and
Yeah.
my Liv. You know what? She does know. Liv knows.
Liv
I
knows.
always go to the thing and says like children know. We always be like, oh, they don't know no better or something like
No,
that.
they do. And they
Yeah.
know the connection too.
Mhm.
They can feel when you have this bond and intimacy with someone, and then they automatically, you can tell that they're like, I know this person. And then when they don't, it's like, I don't know this
I
person.
know a lot of times when I am around my friends or if I'm strapping Liv on, I strap Liv on more often when I go out now. Uh, she does this thing. It's really cute. Action used to do it. She checks in with me. So like I kind of prop her up and then she looks at them and then she looks at me like
Yeah.
and then she looks at me like, "Are we good with them?" And
Yep.
I do a big smile because she loves smiling, and I go, "Yes, this is so and so,"
Yep.
and then she'll flash them a smile, and it'll be all good from there. But it's kind of like, yeah, this is your village. You have to keep that connection. You have to let them know because like we have so many nieces and nephews.
We do. We counted them. We stopped counting at 14, I think, but we've since then we've had many more. And yeah, so we huge family, big loving family, but also
Also, what I was saying is we have so many nieces and nephews. We are more connected to the people whose parents reach out to us,
yes,
showing us pictures of their little league or like, you
just
know,
involving us
yeah,
and this
involving us
in their
because
lives.
we're busy too.
Yep. But
And
that's what I'm saying. It is up to you to reach out and let your village know that you need support. I'm not saying that they also are not supposed to be checking in, but it goes both ways. It definitely, and just even in friendship, when I think about like my friends that have come through different seasons of my life, the friends that are still here in this season of my life are the ones that check in with me and then they keep checking in with me and then reminding me, oh, okay. And then now I when I get past the sleep deprivation, when I get past, they keep coming. Okay, let me check back in with them. They hung on long enough so that I can reciprocate that love in the way that now we're back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have one question for you. Do you think that some people do not reach out as much because of social media? Because it's kind of like,
Mm,
oh, I see them. Like I follow you on at First Comes Love TCM on Instagram or
yeah.
TikTok, and I see your baby girl's outfits of the day or stuff like
Yeah.
that, and
You're absolutely
that
right.
is I liked your picture. You know, like is do you think that sometimes people have kind of diluted what the connection is? I was like, oh yeah, I know what's going on with them, even though we have a saying,
Mm.
Instagram is fake.
Instagram ain't real.
Yeah,
And as real as I make it, because I'm going to be honest, like I do try to keep it
authentic.
authentic and genuine. And I would say it is probably 87% real. Like
Hmm.
most of the time, maybe even, I'm going to go to 90 because it is real, even if it did happen in a delayed time. Because I'm not posting while I'm taking the kids to school, but it did happen.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's
So
not
it's
staged.
not live stream, right? But it's not staged. But yeah, I someone today, because they were saying you're really good at social media. Like I'm leaving this job that I've been at for 11 years, and they're like, "Oh, you're really good at it," and I said, "Thank you." So they're gonna think, yeah, that they're staying connected with me just merely based off of following our stories. But that's one sided.
Hmm.
Even if you think that you're staying connected with me, I'm not staying connected. You're not really reaching out to me if
Hmm.
you're only liking a picture and we're not having a conversation. It's not
Yeah, it's
communication.
basically we're broadcasting the information, and you're not necessarily giving it and broadcasting it back.
We're not. I have somebody that lives 10 minutes away, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I still need to come see Liv. Liv is going to be 6 months. She lives right down the street. There is no excuse for you not to come see Liv. We didn't, with this baby, turn anyone away, even when she was a newborn.
Yep.
Obviously make sure you're healthy, and we wash our hands, but you could have came and saw her immediately we came home from the hospital. But yeah, false sense of connection because you follow Instagram, you think you
Or
don't,
Facebook.
or
Yeah.
Facebook or anywhere, maybe the podcast. Some people are fake followers and they don't follow all the way, so they're not even listening to
Well,
this.
this is the thing about our podcast, which is I always said I was like, if somebody really wants to get to know me better, they would listen to this podcast
Yeah.
because we are actually very vulnerable, or I
Mm,
am very vulnerable on this.
me too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I cry almost every episode.
So it's kind of like if somebody wants to get to know me, they would follow the podcast because other places like here I'm Aaron in totality of like I'm Aaron the dad, I'm Aaron the husband, I'm Aaron the playful guy, I'm Aaron the guy at work who isn't Aaron. His name is actually Rich.
Yeah.
But I'm like all of us. I'm all of me
Mm-hmm.
on the pod, and
At work, you're
I
only seeing
yeah,
a portion of
yeah.
that.
At
At
work,
work, you're
I'm
only
Rich.
seeing me
Yeah,
at work. Yep, that's
yeah,
true.
and like around my kids, you're only seeing the dad
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's following the podcast, but also it's the you could get to, but it's the commenting and stuff like that. When we're
Engaging.
yeah, the engagement because our village basically still engages on our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll give us an "Am I wrong?" They'll tell us what the "Am I wrong?" is,
Yeah.
and what I was talking about the village that we select, but also there are villages that we have like our brothers and our sisters that
That we were born into is what you're
yeah
saying.
that we were born into that we can actually have a strong connection with. Like some brothers and sisters siblings you don't have to have a strong connection with, but other ones you could be like, okay, you know what, you are good for me, we are friends.
Yeah.
Like most of my siblings is somebody else's godparent out of my siblings.
Yes, for sure. I think every one of your siblings is a godparent to someone else in the sibling.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Am I Wrong segment. First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. This is part of the show where I give you a situation and you let me know if I'm wrong or if Lindsay's wrong. So there is a situation where Lindsay was like, she's leaving her job, and it's like a big deal. It's a huge deal, and people want to do stuff for her. I know that Lindsay does not like surprises, and her friends have been reaching out to me. And I know Lindsay. I feel like I know Lindsay the most out of anybody else. But there are some things about Lindsay that I do not know. Like, I don't know the complete work Lindsay. Like, I'm assuming that she is not a completely different person, but there are some things that people do at work. Like, her voice might be higher or deeper or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting questions from people, and I have been trying to relay these questions from these people who want to do like a surprise / thing for her to her. And then Lindsay was kind of like, no, just be thoughtful. But I want it to be nice for her because it's very important, and I don't want anything to go wrong because I want everything to be perfect and beautiful and stuff for her. So am I wrong for like just relaying the questions? So it'll be like, oh, what does Lindsay want to eat? And I'll be like, hey, Lindsay wants to eat this. Because like Lindsay only eats, like, here she'll eat cereal and maybe a salmon, but like, I don't know what you eat at work, right? I remember it was a time you went to Carmine's all the time, right? So if I'm like, oh, go to Carmine's,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But I don't know if you would like it, and I know you don't really like surprises, and I know like people know you like cookies, but then they'll get you a cookie with nuts in it or something like that. And so, am I wrong for just trying to? Am I? You know what? This is a good way to phrase it. Am I wrong for trying to make Lindsay have the best going away experience?
Well, when you phrase it like that, you're just trying to get a win. No, you want me to. Of course, you're not wrong. I want to have the best into a long run of a career at a particular job. Sure, but I think what you were getting at was, feeding everything through me. Women like to be surprised. I like to be surprised as long as I know about the surprise. So, just tell me. That way I can prepare my reaction so that I can give you the reaction that you want. Because the reality is that people who are really surprised, usually a surprise is terrifying, or they're like it's just, but if you have just a little inkling of something, then it can be the actual surprise that you want, where it's just like, you guys, like that's the one you want. You would be like, oh my God, that's the one you want. So, do all of the things that I love and like, and then there won't be any problems.
See, that's the thing. I don't know all the things that she loves and likes at work, though.
I know. No, I think that it is challenging because you really want to the best for the people that you love. And I'm at a place where I'm just so grateful that I could be disappointed and still be grateful. And so at the end of the day, the bottom line is, like, if somebody got me, which has happened, if somebody got me cookies because they know I love cookies and they have nuts in them, I could be like, oh, I'm not going to eat these cookies, but I'm still grateful. You know what I mean? Like, this is what
the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. There you go. So, tell us what you think. Instagram, TikTok, First Comes Love, TCM.
You can always like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube channel at First Comes Love. And
you can email us. Email is always good. Let's talk at firstcomeslove, thenComesMarriage.com.
So, wrapping this up, let's do a rapid fire because we're actually running out of time.
Okay. It takes a village.
It takes a village
to raise a child. ...
Okay. How many people you think you need in a community? Go.
Depends on the number of children you have.
Ooh,
Okay?
okay.
Because 3 is a lot. Whenever I leave the 3 kids with you, you be like, I got a lot. And when I got 3 in the morning, I know I'm almost like we going not to war, but I'm getting my armor on. You know what I mean? Because I gotta fight New Yorkers, but I also gotta, let my kids be at ease. I want them to be happy. I want them, all of the things that comes with it. So because we don't have one, you might say, okay, I just need a handful of 8 people. I don't know. 2, you need this many. 3,
more the merrier.
I'm gonna say at least 20.
20 in your village?
I need 20 strong people in my village for 3 little people, because I wouldn't give all 3 of them at this young age to one person. So now I'm splitting them up, and then give or take, one person has work, one person's not feeling well, one other person has their own kids that got a lot of stuff going on. I need a roster of 20 people that I can call, pull them up.
What's the biggest attribute that a person in your village would need?
To be at the top of the list, or what do you mean?
To be on the village. To be in
the village?
Yeah.
The biggest attribute, they need to be...
Mine would be availability.
Yo, I was going to say available. They need to be available. But that's really funny because we picked a village that most of them are not unavailable, but they have, things going on. I mean,
I like the guys that I talk to are the guys that are in my village basically for me they're like my sounding board.
Oh, you just mean available, like pick up the phone.
Like sometimes I just need you to pick up the phone so I could sound off, because like I said, when we're around 3 people, like on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm around 3 little kids all day.
Yeah.
I need to have a conversation with an adult.
Yeah.
So that's one of mine is like just being available and like are calling me back when you say you're gonna call me back.
Yeah.
I remember when I started getting better at that, and my friends was like, "Hello?" When I called them back, and they're like, "Did you call me back?" Yeah.
Yes.
And I started saying bye when I hung up. That was another thing.
Yeah.
People thought I was pranking them. I was like, "All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye." And they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Because I used to go, "All right,"
and just hang up. That was the young you.
Yeah,
This is the new 3 kids late in the 30s, and we got. Yeah, I think I would more so say for the village, I need them to love my children like they were their children. Because then it's easier to ask for help. It's easier to give a child that maybe doesn't really want to leave home, but I have to go do something to someone who loves them anyway because they're crying or they're being a baby. It's easier to do that versus like, you know what, I gotta stay. Nah, I got, because they're not gonna love them. They're not gonna take care of them the way that I would. I can't do nothing.
Okay. Last question is, if you need to kick somebody out of your village, are you just going to ghost them, or you are going to have a conversation and basically be like, hey, I can't rock with you no more?
So that's a hard one, because once you in,
and
I bring you in with the children. That's why
it is. But I remember having somebody that I felt was in the village in the first one.
Who?
Shanika.
She thought she was in the village.
And then, pandemic did change a lot of things, but like, where is she now?
Yeah.
But I had a conversation. I was like, yo, I can't rock with you.
I don't even understand what happened there either.
I know, but my question to you trying to avoid the question.
No. Okay. And that, it just made me think of like single mothers and how you have to be very careful with who you bring around your kids, because I'm not about to kick nobody out of the village. I guess it would be a conversation like, hey, something is happening here. We falling off, or, sometimes, I use ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows in a relationship, and in adult relationships, regardless of children, but especially when you have children, it's going to ebb and flow. Sometimes you're not going to be on the same wavelength. So, yeah, I think it would be a conversation as far as like, but as far as maybe our relationship is changing, and the do I want to continue to push so that we stay connected, or is this a moment in time where we need to give each other space? And so that's also, again, I'm gonna go back to prayer. It's a conversation that I usually have with God about my relationship, because I'm one for seasons. And I think that the 20 people that I want in my village should be lifelong seasons, and I pray that they will be, because I don't, you know this about me, I don't like people coming in and out of my kids' lives. What about you?
Oh, like I said, I would just cut somebody off. I would have a conversation and tell them like, hey, I can't have you do this.
Well, yeah, if it's dire, then yeah, you can't.
It's not dire. It's not dire.
I can't have you do this.
But like, you know, like, if there are relationships do change, and some people don't recognize when I am busy, or some people don't recognize that, and like they might grow up and they might change, they might get a new job or something like that. And so if somebody is not holding their end of the bargain when it comes to, because like, as much as we're saying like, oh yeah, we need these types of things for our village, we also give as a community. So it's give intake. It's community chest. So I would be depositing into them as well. And if it's becoming a little bit more one-sided and stuff like that, I don't have the funds for that. So I'll have a conversation and just like, okay, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I get that. All right, well, it takes a village. I stand by that saying.
I love it. Find your village. Have a good village. And yeah. And lean on them.
Choose wisely.
And lean on me.
Lean in and receive it,
when
y'all.
You're not strong.
Okay. Tell us what you think. First Comes Love, CCN, Instagram and TikTok.
Always like, subscribe, and share on YouTube at First Comes Love.
Email us, let's talk at firstcomeslove, thencomes marriage.com. Talk to you Tuesday.